For the longest time, automation has just been about following a script. A, B, C, do this, then do that. But what if it could actually think for itself? What if our workflows could reason, adapt, and just get things done on their own? Well, that's not science fiction anymore. That's the world of AI agents. And that right there is the fundamental shift. We're moving from systems that are just programmed to follow a rigid set of instructions to systems that are actually driven by goals. The difference is massive. They don't just execute tasks, right? They're built to achieve outcomes, and they can completely change their game plan on the fly if needed. So what exactly is an AI agentic workflow? Well, the easiest way to think about it is an automation process that has a brain. It uses these intelligent agents, usually powered by large language models, to make its own decisions and hit its goals, all by itself. It's autonomous, it's adaptive, and the most important part, it learns as it goes. All right, so here's what we're going to cover. We'll look at how these workflows actually think. We'll go from rules to reason, check out the playbook for building them, weigh the promise against the peril, and then see what this automation revolution really means for all of us. Okay, to really get what's so special here, we've got to look at how we got here in the first place. This has been a journey, from automation that just mimics human actions to automation that's starting to mimic human reasoning. This really maps out the whole evolution perfectly. Over on the left, you've got traditional robotic process automation, or RPA. It's great with neat, structured data, but super rigid. Then in the middle, you see AI-enhanced workflows, which kind of dipped a toe into messy, unstructured data. But the real leap? That's all the way on the right. AI agentic workflows can dynamically adapt, they can handle any kind of data you throw at them, and they make complex, autonomous decisions. So, if you want the simplest way to think about it, it's this. RPA is all about doing. It follows a script to the letter perfectly, every single time. But AI agents, they're about thinking and then doing. They can improvise, they can learn, and they can handle all those messy real-world problems that need actual judgment. So how do you actually go about building these things? It's not just chaos, right? Well, it turns out there's a playbook. Just like a coach drawing up different plays, developers use a set of core patterns to deploy these agents, for everything from simple jobs to crazy complex ones. And these patterns, they're kind of like a ladder of sophistication. We're going to start with the simplest one, chained requests, and climb all the way up to these fully collaborative multi-agent teams. Let's break them down. First up, chained requests. This is the most basic pattern you'll see. The best analogy is a factory assembly line. One station does its job, passes it to the next, and so on. In this world, one AI model might transcribe some audio, then pass that text to another model to summarize it, which then sends the summary off to be stored somewhere. Simple, sequential, and super effective for those linear tasks. Next, we level up to the single agent. Think of this like a skilled person with a big toolbox. You've got one central AI brain that can pull out whatever tool it needs, a web search, a calculator, an API call to get the job done. This is the kind of thing you see in personal assistants or chatbots that have to remember what you've been talking about and use different skills to help you out. Now things start getting really interesting with the gatekeeper model. Instead of just one agent, you've got a project manager leading a whole team. A main gatekeeper agent gets a complex request, figures out how to break it down, and then delegates the smaller tasks to specialized agents. One for billing questions, another for tech support, and the gatekeeper coordinates the whole shebang. And finally, we get to the most advanced pattern, multi-agent teams. Forget a single project manager. This is like a full-on, no-holds-barred brainstorming session. You have multiple agents, each with their own specialty, all collaborating and talking directly to each other to solve a massive problem. This is where you get truly distributed intelligence that can tackle huge, dynamic challenges that stretch across an entire company. Now, all of this sounds incredibly powerful. And, well, it is. But like any game-changing technology, the promise is always balanced by some very real perils. We gotta ground ourselves and look at the practical challenges we're facing today. And this quote from Lionel Liddy at Menlo Security just hits the nail on the head. AI agents are built to be helpful, right? But that exact same servile nature, that desire to help, can be exploited. It makes them gullible and vulnerable to attacks that can trick them into doing malicious things. So security is a massive, massive concern. So does this mean it's the end of the line for older tech like RPA? Absolutely not. Far from it. The people actually building this stuff, the developers on the ground, are all saying the same thing. The future isn't about replacement, it's about integration. The smart money is on using RPA for the reliable, structured stuff, and then layering these AI agents on top to handle all the parts that need dynamic thinking. It's AI plus RPA. And you know what's really driving this forward? Cost. Just look at this breakdown of browser agents. At the top, you've got a big, powerful model. The accuracy is good, but it's the most expensive. But then look down at the bottom. A smaller, open-weight model is getting even better accuracy for a tiny fraction of the cost. This trend is what's making this powerful agentic tech accessible to pretty much everyone. So when you put all of these pieces together, where are we headed? I mean, this is more than just a new tool. We are looking at a fundamental revolution in how work itself gets done. And it's all being driven by these agentic workflows. And listen, this isn't some far-off, 10 years from now kind of thing. According to a JP Morgan report on emerging tech trends, the move from single-agent to multi-agent systems is a defining trend for next year. That tells you how fast this is accelerating, from simple assistants to complex, collaborative digital workforces. So in the very near future, you're going to want to watch for 3 key things. First is platform convergence, where all the traditional and AI tools start merging together. That convergence is what enables the second big step, agentic financial transactions, where agents can actually make purchases on their own. And that leads right to the third point, the rise of autonomous economic actors, agents that we trust with tasks of real economic value. And that brings us to the final and maybe most important question. As these agents get woven deeper and deeper into our lives, we have to decide where we draw the line. They can already do our research, manage our tasks. Pretty soon, they'll be handling our finances. So it really makes you think, what is the one decision, that one judgment call that you would never, ever let an AI agent make for you?